Let's wait for the people. Oh gosh, love lives so much. The first 10 seconds are always so awkward, so please be patient. Let's wait for people to join. They're all getting notifications now. Let's see who'll join us first. Yes, we have 2 people. Hi, guys. As soon as I see your names, I'll be able to greet you properly. Wonder why the way. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Hello, Onalema. Onalema Muhapi. Hello. Hello, Leandra. Hello, Lungelo from Chile. We are within. Oh, no. Not me reading Chow. I didn't think it's Chile. Hi, Chow. Welcome. Guys, I look forward to these lives so much because I feel like YouTube is a different space, man. Hi. Hi, shit. Oh gosh, I don't want to butcher your name. But your surname is Jordan. Hey, honey. Hey, Hwedi. I hope I'm saying it right. Hi, Amore. Hi, Portia. Love it. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for keeping your notification bell on. I love it for us. Not chai. I know, Lungelo. I figured it out because I'm like, that chow is not chili. It's chow. Hi, Heba. Dumela homeschool learning stars. Hi, Palesa. Hi, Ngobile. Guys, I actually want to know, I want to see who are the teachers in the space right now. If you are a teacher, can you send a heart? If you're studying towards being a teacher or you are wanting to study towards being a teacher, put a thumbs up. I want to see what our demographics are saying. Thank you, Leandra. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that the videos have been informative. Oh, thank you so much. Thumbs up. Okay, so I see someone who's studying towards. I see teachers. Amor is a teacher in Wenzhou. Wow, we're both in China. Love it. Ngobile and Nkinki are both teachers. Love it. So yes, if you missed it, I'm just saying, if you are a teacher, give me a heart. Show me a heart emoji. And if you are studying towards being a teacher or are, wanting to study towards being a teacher, give us a thumbs up. I just want to see where we are. I feel like we're like half at the moment. But anyway, guys, welcome to our live. I'm also a part-time teacher. Okay, love it. So welcome to our live in partnership with Moreland. Firstly, shout out to Moreland University, honey, for making sure that these lives happen. I love you guys so much, my family at Moreland. Thank you so much. And I love you guys, my community of teachers. It's so amazing to hear and to see that there's so many teachers here and people who are studying towards being teachers. This is for me a safe space because I feel like we can share and equip each other with information that can better position ourselves to get the jobs that we want, the salaries that we want, and feel that satisfaction when we're teaching, you know what I mean? So today's video, today's live, I wanted us to chat about different ways that we can advance our careers as teachers, especially if we are wanting to work abroad. I'm not excluding people who are currently in South Africa. I feel like this is also very important for you to know what your options are after completing or whether you want to do that pivot and move abroad. This could be a great video for you to kind of hear what ways you can do that to position yourself. Hi guys, I love it. I love to see all the teachers in Shenzhen, in China. Mwah. You guys are my family, so it's so nice to see you guys here. So yeah, let's get straight into it, guys. I don't want to keep you guys long. It has been a long day for me. I've had Halloween celebrations all day, honey. So I had to be smiley and happy, and this can take a lot from us as teachers, so you guys understand. So Before we dive into these opportunities and different routes that you can take, I want to discuss the why. For me, the whys are super important because when you're going through the trenches and you are doing all the tests and the exams and the applications, you want to keep that why in the back of your head. That is what keeps you going. So the first thing I want to chat about is that the career advancement opportunities that I chat about are going to ensure that you are able to get the salary that you want. Higher salaries are in positions that involve specialization, leadership, administration. Those roles in schools definitely have that salary bump. So keep that in the back of your mind, okay? Another thing too is that you have new challenges and new ideas and different views that you can implement in your classroom, in your school, and that again positions you in a better way to speak in your interviews, show them that you have multiple ideas and experience that you would like to implement in the school. You can also develop in your skills of teaching, subject specific strategies, as well as expertise in different areas when it comes to teaching skills. So you could be someone who is in charge of professional development because of the way and the different courses that you chose to study. You know what I mean? And then of course you will get some professional satisfaction due to the case that when you are doing different certificates and qualifications that position you better, you find that you can add more value to your school in different ways outside of the classroom. So obviously it can get redundant, it can get boring sometimes when you're the teacher for grade 4 over and over. So you want a career change, you want to be involved in curriculum development, you want to be involved in trainings, you want to be involved in dealing with special needs kids. So all those different things really give you more satisfaction in your role as a teacher. So these are the kind of whys that I think are super important for when you are going through the application processes and figuring out why you want to do these things. And then the overarching one, of course, is that as teachers, especially teachers who are living abroad, there are so many opportunities for us and so many schools out there. And I feel like in order for us to get into these schools, we need to get the qualifications we need. A PGCE isn't enough anymore. You need to really position yourself and equip yourself with the information and the skills and the certificates to get the teaching role that you want in that specific country. So today we're going to be speaking about teaching licenses. We're going to be talking about the Praxis exam and of course the QTS. Why I chose these three is because these are the most common routes that people choose, especially after finishing the Teach Now preparation certificate at Moreland University. And this is obviously one of these three ways these three routes are routes that can be taken by someone who studied through Moreland or someone who studied through any other university around the world and has a teaching degree. Okay, so I wanted to kind of give you guys different ways that you can approach your advancement. Okay, so the first one we're going to chat about is the US teaching license. Okay, I'm going to read your comments as I'm speaking, but guys, don't be afraid to drop questions, to add to what I'm saying, to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not Miss Know-It-All. I do some research as well before joining this live. So if you know more or updated information, please don't be afraid to add that in the comment section. So first up, we're going to talk about the US teaching license. For those of you who don't know, a US teaching license is an official document issued by a state within the United States that grants any individual the legal authority to teach in a public school or a private school in the states, okay, or outside the states. So it's not just in the states, but also outside the states. The license is essential for educators who wish to work in the states and outside the states. And it's a requirement, okay? So for most of the time, it is a requirement for schools in the States, and it's a requirement actually for international schools around the world. So for me, when I was studying, when I was doing my Teach Now certificate, I knew that I'm going to use it to get into schools here in China because they were very specific about the requirements when it comes to international schools. Now, this course, of course, the Moreland Teach Now online preparation certificate is an ideal option for people who are outside of the US and who are wanting to get a US teaching license. Like I said, it is state issued, and Moreland does recommend that people like me and you who are not from the US, who don't understand all the different states, but just want a US teaching license issued from a state, they recommend us applying to the Washington, D.C. state, because that one will be more I would say user friendly for us as expats, people who are outside of the US. So Washington DC is the state that they recommend for us to do our application for the teaching license, the US teaching license. Okay, so once of course you get this certificate, it happens, it gives you so many more opportunities. So can you only teach in a specific state, not in a specific state, not country? No. So what I was saying right now is that once you, for example, Washington, D.C., you get that teaching license, you can teach, if you decide to teach in America, you can teach with it in Washington, D.C., and I'm assuming not in other states because they all have their own requirements. The US is quite tricky when it comes to the different states. But if you are someone who wants to then take that US license that you got issued from Washington, D.C. and use it in other countries, you can. Especially, you know, the UAE, China, well, Asian countries. I'm not too sure about, I'm gonna talk more about the United Kingdom when I get to the QTS, because it does differ, but you can definitely use it outside of the US. All right, and it definitely looks good on your CV if you're getting it issued from, if you're getting a US teaching license. Okay, so the benefits, of course, are endless, but just to recommend or just talk about a few, these US teaching licenses, right? They obviously hold weight. Okay, they get you the job in that international school, in that school that has a US curriculum, in that school that is wanting specifically teachers who have that US teaching license. You obviously, when you are enrolling at Moreland to do the Teach Now preparation certificate, part of the issuing of the license is doing a Teach Now preparation certificate. With that course that you're doing, the 9-month-long course at Moreland, you're able to network with people around the world because there are a bunch of educators there. You can, you know, advance your career through networking. You can build more skills through networking. So that issuing of that license, leading up to it, really, you are getting exposed to so many opportunities, different people from around the world. Once we're in it, we really are able to share with each other. And once you hear how people are living or working in Vietnam, in Europe, in Qatar, in New Zealand. For me, when I was doing my course at Moreland, I had people from all over, my colleagues, or rather the other candidates, and it kind of gave me a different view, and it opened up my eyes not to limit myself to Asia, and how much people are wanting to get a US teaching license because they understand what it can do for you and open up so many more career opportunities for you, and of course the career and the salary advancement. So like I was saying, that license will really open up opportunities for you. The requirements, right? So let's chat about that. So you do need a bachelor's degree. So if you are someone who got your bachelor's degree outside the US, don't worry, you can get a equivalency report through IEE. So most of the time, you just put your degree in there. You do give them information about your university. Then they run a check. Then they're gonna see. Then they do a report to tell you whether it's equivalent to a US degree, right? So that one is easy. A teacher preparation course. So this is the one I've just spoken about from Moreland. That is 9 months, and you do it. You get it done, and you use that to apply for your license, right? Another one is your passing of required exams. So the states do have some requirements that differ, and they do require some exams to be taken. It could be a Praxis, it could be any other exam. They tell you what they require. And you need to do a complete background check, which is obvious because you're going to be working with kids. They need to know that you are, you're safe, you don't have any criminal records. And then you submit all of this to the state licensing board, and then you get your teaching license, okay? So I do want to mention though is that this might sound like a lot, and there are obviously so many steps in between what I'm saying. Moreland does offer staff members and support for us to actually ask and speak to them via Zoom, which is really helpful because when you're someone who's not a US citizen, it's very difficult to get through to the different licensing boards. Who do you email? Who do you speak to? So they do offer a step-by-step guide on how to get the licensing. So you have someone you can sit with in a Zoom call, and they tell you what you need to do. So if you're someone who's currently enrolled with Moreland and you're doing the teacher preparation course, email your admin staff the admin staff at Moreland, I'm sure they've emailed you multiple times. Shelby's one of them. They can absolutely get back to you and have a call with you. They're amazing. They're very patient and they explain everything for you. And you're able to get all the information you need. So, Tumi, I hope that answers your question. So then, let's say now you are done your Teach Now certificate. It's 9 months later. You've got your certificate. Now you're wanting to go through to your licensing and you want to do it through Washington, D.C. So like I said, they do require some exams like the Praxis. And let's say you are not looking to get your licensing, but you want to do a Praxis so that you can now specialize in a specific subject, or you want to get assessed on a specific grade level or related teaching skill. So today we're going to talk about specifically the Praxis 2 exams, because I feel like those are more broad, and I've noticed that a lot of people that I've interacted with have opted for these Praxis exams. So if you don't know what a Praxis exam is, the Praxis exam is a exam testing company that is rather offered to potential teachers who want to be measured on a specific subject, a specific grade level, a specific teaching skill, okay? So they are often required when you are doing state teacher certification, or if you're wanting to get a specific teaching role or a teaching subject, that is what you would actually I would recommend, or what is recommended is that you do a Praxis, so that would kind of position you to get that teaching position that you want in that specific subject or grade level. So I'm going to chat about the PLT. The PLT is the Principles of Learning and Teaching exam. So this test measures your knowledge on teaching early childhood, kindergarten, all the way to 6th grade, 5th grade to 9th grade, as well as 7th to 12th grade. So this one obviously is very specific to the age groups or the grade level, okay? And then the Teaching Foundation test focuses on your knowledge in 5 major subjects, including English, language arts, math, science, and social studies. So once you decide, okay, I want to be a social studies teacher, I want to focus on social studies, you can then study and, study for the Praxis and take the Praxis. You can take it as many times as you want. I've heard people fail it a lot, but if you study, you avoid the chances of failing. So honestly, I went on the Praxis site and I did the test, and the test itself has multiple different questions: English, math, science, and it was quite daunting when I was doing it. And I ended up doing like 2 out of 5 right. This is just like the test run one. But I'm telling you, once you get it and once you get that certificate, child, the opportunities are endless, And so that's the Teaching Foundation test. And then there's the Subject Assessment test. So this test measures your knowledge on a teaching skill, or on your teaching skill of a specific subject, okay? So the subjects are quite a lot. I will list them so that we are all on the same page. Agriculture, art, biology, Chinese, early childhood education, family and consumer studies, geography, geometry, health education, journalism, physical education, sociology, and theater. This, for me, I learned something new about this, okay? So when I was approaching this live, I wanted to do some research and read up, and I didn't actually know that you could actually get subject assessments on theater, sociology, and journalism. So this is something that I feel like, if you're interested in a specific field and maybe you studied these things in matric and you really love them, go ahead and do a specialization in that field. If you're someone who's a PE teacher and you want to position yourself to get a higher paying position, do a subject assessment test through Praxis and see what that will kind of do to your career, to your salary, to your position. Some people can get leadership roles through the Praxis, because then you can hold a department head job. You can then train others in the skill set that you have. So I feel like this opens up so many opportunities. Okay, so if you've missed us, if you've missed the live, don't worry, I'm going to save it. This will be saved, don't worry. And obviously, if you have any questions, go ahead. And go ahead and ask. Don't be afraid. So we've spoken about the US teaching license. We've just spoken about the Praxis. Now we are going to be speaking about the QTS. Okay, why I decided to bring in the QTS, because when I think about China, for example, and we're thinking about where do we go next, I feel like it's super important to understand what are the requirements for the different countries that we want to go to, and what are the different things that we need to know when applying for positions. Yes, Nomantla, there are so many people here who are in China. And then also I wanted to chat about these specific things, because when it comes to us as English as the major medium of communication in schools, the United Kingdom and the US are obviously the two countries where English is the main language of instruction, and the subjects are very common for us here in South Africa, well, here as South Africans, and obviously we are more equipped, right, to be able to understand the requirements. So obviously it differs for every country. It could be different for New Zealand, it could be different for the UAE, but I know for sure is that US teaching license is definitely going to get you into international schools, as well as the QTS. So if you are unsure what a QTS is, the QTS is the qualified teacher status. So this is equivalent, or this is the traditional approach to a teaching license or a teaching certification in the United Kingdom. So it's issued by the United Kingdom, and just like the US, it gives teachers certification to teach in public schools and government schools. Okay, I did recently find out that the QTS though doesn't apply in Scotland and other places, but it does apply in England and Wales. So if you are someone who's like, okay, I'm ready to make that move, to move to the UK, and I want to work in England and I want to work in Wales, this is for you, honey. I think it's super important to spread our wings and see what's out there. So what I found out about the QTS is that, like I said, it's an official license issued by the British government. In England, public schools employ school staff that have a QTS. However, if you are someone who has a US teaching license and you're like, I don't think I want to get a QTS, but I want to work in England or I want to work in Wales, there are private schools and independent schools that will employ you who doesn't have a QTS, but you do have a US teaching license. So this is something good to know. So you're not extremely, pushed to the side if you have a US teaching license. You can still work in the United Kingdom, in England and Wales, and get into that independent or private school. Okay, so schools in the UK do use the QTS though to qualify the candidates for any teaching position. So once you apply, for example, let's say you are someone who is just done their Teach Now certificate, okay, and you're like, okay, I want to do a QTS, okay, so you can take that Teach Now certificate, take your bachelor's degree, and many other things that I'm gonna list now, and apply for that QTS, okay? So getting licensed within DC or whatever state you choose, you can actually use that as part of your application process so that they see your experience and see what you've done leading up to that point, okay? So what are the requirements for the QTS? You do need an undergrad degree that is equivalent to a UK degree. So once again, you would need to do a equivalency test. There are agencies like IEE and many other that do give you that opportunity. You need to complete a teaching training equal to level 6, okay? You need to complete mandatory induction processes that will gain full teacher registration in the country where you qualified, okay? You would need to be recognized as a professional teacher in the country that you qualified. You would need to have teaching experience for more than a year. I will definitely save the life, my love, don't worry. And you would obviously need to then apply through QTS with all these documents, all right? They don't, for me, hearing this list, it's not very daunting. I have all these documents, It's just when you're applying, you do need a little bit patient, do need to have a little bit of patience, and they might require some testing. You might need to do some tests. If you haven't done a Praxis, this could be a great time to do some research about it. If you've never heard of it, this could be a great time to go read up so that you know more about it, okay? So yes, Moreland University does give you information about licensing in the US. They don't give you information about the UK, but there's so many resources out there that you can do the research with. But what I want to emphasize is that you can use the Teach Now certificate to put that as leverage on your CV, in addition to your bachelor's degree in education, to apply for your QTS with more documents that they need, and of course experience. I'm going to just go back to your questions so that I am, can repeat information for people who are asking. Okay, so what is the best course to do for beginners? I would say the first thing is to get an undergrad degree in education. Okay, start there, because with that you can then use that to apply to the different things. So with the Teach Now preparation certificate and the masters, you can use your undergrad to your undergrad in education to apply, and then with that you'll take that and apply for licensing. You can also use that to get your QTS. You can also do that to apply for a Praxis. So all of that you can use. Anyone? Okay, I saw that one. I don't know if this is out of context. I need assistance with calculating GPS for my UNISA B.Ed. Okay, so GPA, I'm assuming. Your GPA, once again, this is the equivalency score, right? So you need to use an agency. Judy, I recommend IEE. I only recommend it because I can see that you're South African, and it was super easy for me when I did it, when I was applying through applying for Moreland University, a US university. I just emailed them. Rather, I went on their website, I paid and uploaded my documents. They needed a degree. They needed you to take a form, or rather send a form to your university, where they would fill out the email address for the people who are in charge of issuing degrees. Then they directly contact them to kind of verify that you got a degree from them, and then you're good to go. So what I would recommend is actually contacting UNISA first and finding out who's in charge of dealing with external agencies when it comes to equivalency. They usually have a department for that. Once you do that, put that person's information on the form, upload it on the site, and then they directly contact them. I hope that's helpful. I'm looking for an online PhD and a D.Ed in education. I would recommend checking out different places on the different universities in the UK and the US. I won't mention names here because this one is a Moreland centered live, but there are so many out there. If you want to do a master's, you can check out the Moreland University Masters. Moreland University Masters in Education. It does offer specializations in leadership, curricular development, and things like that. So if you're wanting to specialize specifically, I would also recommend that. I'm in a market for a post-grad qualification and a school. I want to further my studies and have a post-grad qualification in education. Do they have a payment plan? Yes, they do have a payment plan. It is online. There is no application deadline. They are constantly enrolling and constantly starting new programs. So it does depend on the numbers. So once they have the groups of about 15, they then start a new cycle. So you can start any time of the year. They do have payment plans. I chose the payment plan for monthly, and I was able to pay for 9 months, a monthly debit order. Usually companies and schools abroad don't want online degrees. Full-time is preferred, but PGCE online is usually not a problem. I wouldn't agree with you. I don't think schools discriminate, especially international schools, discriminate against online courses, especially rather postgraduate courses, especially if they understand that you are an expat and most of the time you would need to study and further your studies online. I would think that, we are moving towards 21st century teachers who use technology to study, to submit, and do things like that. So I wouldn't agree with you. I feel like I think schools are, especially international schools, are not discriminating when it comes to postgraduate studies. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy I stumbled onto the live. You're such an inspiration. Thank you so much, Unati. Thank you so much. I see I have 2 bachelors and 2 masters. Oh, okay, honey. I would suggest you go ahead and get that PhD. If you want to do another, or maybe get some licensing. If you want to use that master's, the masters that you have, to get licensing from Washington, DC, I would recommend reaching out to Moreland and seeing how they can help you with getting the licensing from Washington, DC. What is Teach Now? Is a certificate? Yes. So Teach Now is a teacher preparation certificate that you use to get licensing from Washington, D.C. or any other state in the United States. It's 9 months long and it prepares you to get licensing. It also can be used to apply for a teaching job alongside your undergraduate certificate. So for me, I had an undergrad in sports science and an honors in sports management, and then I have my Teach Now certificate and my TEFL. So with all four of those certificates, I took them and I applied in my international school, and I was able to get a grade 4 teaching position, teaching English language arts, reading topic, which is like geography and history, as well as those are the major things that I teach. So yeah, it kind of puts you into context. I would say the Teach Now certificate can get you teaching positions in primary school, and then when you're looking into higher grades, I would recommend pumping that up with a Praxis or upgrading that up with your Praxis or your QTS, whatever the case may be. But I would still you could still get a really good job with your Teach Now preparation certificate without going further and doing licensing. Okay. Hi. Question: as you have mentioned previously that you didn't qualify and therefore you had to write a letter to explain. I also hold a 3-year essay degree, was not equivalent to a US one. How did you do? Okay, so it depends on the institution maybe, but they didn't Oh, I think you're talking about the GPA score. So Moreland does ask for a 2.0 GPA, and I think I got 1.8 something. So they were able to, I guess, allow that. Moreland was. So maybe they do have some leniency, like a range that they allow. So yeah, but definitely email them. Email them and say, guys, this is what I got. Do I still qualify? If you don't, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do, but I think you could email them and find out what you can do from them, okay? Dear Saudis, don't give up on your education. I'm teaching at a US university and I earn well. Just inspiration. Please keep studying. Thank you, Nomandla, for sharing that. And yes, I've also heard of WES. WES is very good. International Teachers, is this a website? Our International Teachers is a great resource to find information about routes towards obtaining QTS. There are 2 to 3 different ways depending on the qualifications and the working experience. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Spa, for responding to my GPA inquiry. You are most welcome. Can you start applying immediately after graduating? Yes, honey. As soon as you have your degree, go ahead and start applying. Hi, Sbatle. I'm a South African studying in China, International Economics and Trade. I would like to venture into teaching. Do I need to do an undergrad in teaching after this? I would say your first step would be to figuring out if you want to work in a kindergarten, in a primary school, in an international school, because all these places do require you to have some teaching qualification. So firstly, if you have the means and the resources, 100% get an undergraduate certificate, degree rather. If you are like, okay, I want to do beginner level, maybe kindergarten because I don't have any experience, do a TEFL. Because then with the TEFL and your undergrad in economics, you can get a teaching position in a kindergarten. And then work your way up, okay? Pace yourself, because then while you're working at the kindergarten, you can use that money that you're earning to pay for your undergrad, to pay for your teacher preparation certificate, or whatever the case may be, whatever you want to end up doing. So you can decide what you want to do, all right? So does getting licensing from Washington, D.C. mean that you can actually teach in the US? Yes, teach in the US in Washington, D.C. Because I think they have different requirements. I know they have different requirements for different states. And to do that cross-state thing, you need to do different tests for that. So with Washington, D.C., if you get that licensing from there, you can teach in Washington, D.C. Okay? I hope I didn't miss any questions. But yeah, guys, really, if anything, this is for me to kind of give you guys a different routes and different ways that you can do it, but do your career advancement. There are so many more, like a few people have mentioned here. Nomanda works in a university in the States. Please do share with us, how did you do that, Nomandla? Where did you get your where were you able to get yourself applied or apply for these positions? Where can people find the sites? And see what other opportunities are out there for us. We don't have to teach ESL. For me, if anything, I want to really emphasize this on this live, is that when you are looking at expats or people working abroad as teachers, you don't only have to work in ESL. You can work in subject specific positions. You can work in specific grade levels if you want to do that. Don't limit yourself just to ESL. There are positions around the world. There are different opportunities to study further so that you can get that position in the country that you want. So can I teach with my undergrad and TEFL in international school? Undergrad in teaching and a TEFL, yes. Okay, undergrad in teaching and a TEFL, yes. I would say if you are thinking to do a postgraduate, you can do a PGCE, okay? Alongside your TEFL, you could definitely get a good primary school teaching job in an international school. What has been the hardest part about teaching overseas? What could be the hardest? I think when I moved to China, the first one I would have said to you was the cultural shock, or the culture shock, and just dealing with the language barrier, and so that was back then. Now, after years of living here, over 5 years, I would say the biggest challenge is accepting that you can't help every child, because I've recently learned that as teachers, we might have goals and rather goals for our kids, and we want them to achieve certain things. But if the parents at home or the people at home don't believe in that and don't have the same aspirations as you, there's nothing you can do, and so that's the hardest part. There's the language barrier and the culture shock in the parents. How do I put it? Like, the best way I can say it is this. In South Africa, for example, when most parents send their kids to school, they want them to do well and pass and do whatever it takes to make sure that they get a certain grade, because they understand that education will open up doors for the child, etc., etc. And this is the thing that I grew up in. Then when I got here, I'm like, when I'm teaching now in primary school and higher grades, I'm realizing that some parents just want their kids to be comfortable and be happy and to be left alone. You can push, you can put pressure, and like, guys, come on, you can do this. Bring accommodations to the classroom, bring teaching aids. But if the parents are like, I just need my child to be happy, and just be a child and not get an A or not get a B, whatever the case may be, it's just hard. It's just hard. And so when you walk into the classroom, you really need to have that room in your mind that, okay, this child, I need to back off. The parents are not there. The child needs to just be in a safe space with English around them. It doesn't matter if they're speaking it or not, And so that's very hard if you're someone like me who's extremely driven, motivated, ambitious, want my kids to do well. I want the best for them. So it's really hard in international schools when you have kids from different backgrounds, different dialects, and you end up teaching a class that is multilingual, Chinese, English, Korean, whatever the case may be, so it can be a lot. I missed so many questions. I'm sorry. Okay, let me see. When applying for jobs in China, when you're still in SA, does a lack of teaching experience hinder your salary chances? I'm studying my PGCE for drama, but I have the relevant BA in theatre experience. Absolutely, but don't be discouraged. Honestly, the experience thing does, obviously, it's part of the requirements when you see the job post, but once they meet you and you are able to speak about your skill set and what you want to achieve and why you want to move to China and how and why you feel like you'd be a good asset to the school, that gets thrown out the window. Honestly, they just want someone who's extremely motivated, who knows what they're talking about, who can get the job done and can fit well in the school. So don't be discouraged if you feel like the experience you're not ticking that box. Don't be discouraged by that. If you tick more than 5 boxes, honey, apply for the job. All right. Let's see. I have applied to universities directly, never via agents. So Nomandla has just mentioned that she's working in a university in the States and she applied directly to the university. So there you go. If you want to do that, go directly to the websites, you know. I would say education is important and experience. Yeah. Would you say your documentation process was easy or difficult, and was it fast or slow for you? I'm assuming you're asking about China. The documentation process back in 2019 was way easier than it is today. But there are people now who help with the whole process. I would say when you are doing your interview process, speak to your school about if they can recommend any agents or people that they have in South Africa or around the world who help with preparation of the documents. But honestly, I would recommend actually going directly to the places to get your stuff done. So with your police clearance, go to the police station in to SAPS in Pretoria. You can get it faster than doing it through your local police. If you have the means, go. If you want to do your what is it called, notarization and all of that, you can go straight to the department and get it done there. So yeah, if you have the means, go ahead and do it yourself. Your paperwork really should be something that you are really hands-on with, so that you have control and you have timing and things like that. Joining all the way from Zambia, online ESL teacher at Cambly. Thank you so much for joining. Hey Sbatli, I'm currently studying with Moreland, but I'm in kindergarten. I want to be a primary school teacher. Does this mean I have to study again? No, honey. So once you're done with your Teach Now certificate, I would say start applying with it, and also go ahead and carry on with the licensing if you have the means and you can afford to. But if you wanna take a break a bit and just like see what your Teach Now preparation certificate can get you, do that. You could also go ahead and do a Praxis or do a master's, you know. You don't have to jump completely and do the licensing immediately, because it does take time. So I don't want you to say to you, wait and do the licensing and then start applying. You can start applying with that Teach Now preparation certificate. I did that. I was able to get the primary school job, and then once I was in, I started applying to do my master's, and now I'm doing my master's, you know. So yeah. Guys, would you teach in the US? If so, why? I mean, guys, it's funny. For me, I am open-minded, and I also think, you know, sometimes it's better to go see for yourself. I do understand that sometimes, you know, there's a lot happening in the States. There are a lot of things that we see in the news. But I do think that there are precautions and things that you can take with you, rather apply in your mind when you are having your interview. The questions that you ask the schools, what are the precautions that they have for school safety, what are the other expat teachers doing there, how are they living. You can ask, man. And if you are someone who has if any position, the States, China, the UAE, New Zealand, if you are someone who's wanting to move abroad and be a teacher, you need to have a thick skin. You need to be resilient. You need to understand that this is not going to be the same as home. And so it takes a different kind of person. So you need to prepare yourself for that. And I think we can do it. We can build ourselves towards that. We can read up, we can watch videos, we can, you know, equip ourselves with the thick skin, you know, and kind of train ourselves to understand that it's going to be a different world. But you watching this live right now is showing me that you are interested, you are wanting to advance yourself, you want to position yourself, you want to earn more money, and that's the great thing. That's a step in the right direction. How easy is it to get accepted when moving with the family, unlike a single person? I would say schools, especially international schools, are very open-minded when it comes to that. For my school, for example, they actually support people coming with their families, because that makes the person's transition easier. They have their family, there's a support system, and they are more open to helping with paperwork and the visa process. This is when I'm speaking about China. I'm not too sure about other countries, but I've seen a very open-minded trend when it comes to bringing families over, children over, spouses over, and obviously be transparent in your interview when you talk to them. Tell them, guys, I've got a family. I want this position, but I've got a family. I want to move with them. Be open with them so that they know what they are bringing on board. Thank you, Spatle. I want to see what the Teach Now certificate and see what I can get. So after I'm done, I'll get the certificate and I can decide if I want to. Yes, you can do that. Exactly. Guys, I didn't want this live to be so long. I wanted it to be informative. Which websites can I use to find international schools? I need international school also because I plan to move abroad with my family. There's one that's called TES, T-E-S, TES. A lot of my colleagues, my new colleagues, have been speaking about TES. So check out TES. And if you also are studying through Moreland, I would recommend speaking to your cohort members. Be like, guys, I'm looking for a job. If you guys are in your school are looking for teachers, please let me know. Add each other on WeChat, add each other on WhatsApp. And if I was, still in my Moreland course and I hear someone's looking for a job, I would 100% recommend them to my school because I can see that they are studying further. And my school is very most international schools are always looking for 21st century teachers who are studying through schools like Moreland and any other international university, So yeah, I would definitely recommend that. Okay, guys, I hope this was so helpful. And I feel like I spoke so much. I hope that you took some notes. I'm going to save this live. Don't worry. And let me know more topics that you guys want us to discuss. Thank you so much for all of you. Thank you so much to all of you that engaged. Thank you, Nomantla. Thank you, Happy. Thank you. Let me go down the list and thank you. Thank you, Eva. Thank you, Nomatrebo, for asking. Thank you, Unati, for also sharing your information. Thank you, Nompumelelo. Thank you, Judy. I see Nomandla a lot here. Thank you, Nomandla. Thank you so much for sharing, girl. Thank you, Akwedi. Thank you, Leandra. Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, all of you, for engaging and sharing because we are learning, guys. We are learning from each other. We are, equipping each other. Let's not gatekeep information. One thing about this channel, we will not gatekeep. We will share information so that we can all level up ourselves and position ourselves to get better teaching positions and move abroad and live our best lives. Thank you to Moreland for making sure that this live happens. Tamaku, my mom, says the same about mindset. Having been a teacher for 30 years, she advises newbies to accept that there's so much you can do. It alleviates the heart and reduces burnout. Love it. Thank you so much, Unati, for sharing. Thank you, guys. I love you guys so much. I will definitely... No, the Moreland license doesn't give you QTS. You would need to directly apply at the QTS licensing board website. If you check it out, you will see it there. It's all on the web. But no, Moreland doesn't give you that QTS with the licensing. The licensing is just the US and the QTS is the United Kingdom. Okay. I love you guys. Mwah. I will see you soon. We're going to do this again very, very soon. And let me know what topics you want us to discuss. I will be happy to do that. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, someone said wait. Yes, I'll wait. Pumela phela shishisa. Pemelo. I called you Pumela. Sorry, Pemelo. Yes, okay. I wish you could send voice notes. Does Moreland apply for you? What? Apply for you where? Oh, with the licensing. No. I'm thinking you're thinking about the licensing in Washington, D.C. No, but they give you all the steps, all the websites, everything. They will tell you everything you need to do. And they will even help you with follow-up questions if you have follow-up questions. Once you become a Moreland alumni, they never leave you. One thing about them, they will always be there for you. If you want to use your certificate to do more things and you want to ask them some questions, they're always willing to help you. Once you become the Moreland family, you always be there. And so you can definitely just follow up with them. You're welcome. Okay, bye. Love you guys. Mwah.